Are we on? Okay, we're live. We are back for another Hollyoaks live stream. Thank God this is the last one. Poor. It interrupted my big brother. And by that I mean the show. As I was watching Big Brother with my big brother. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Hope everybody had enjoyed the time away. I personally edited down the reactions and uploaded the video. And not much else. No, not really much room for anything else. Whew. I think I'm definitely more anxious towards this episode because we've already seen so much, but I'm expecting because it's later, the expectations are higher. That's what I'm thinking. Hello, Joanne. Hello, hello. We're back. And in living colour. It's definitely hitting me. I'm definitely feeling the... I'm feeling the... There's a reason I've got a coffee, I'll say that much. I'm feeling the tiredness. It was an explosive episode. It was really good. It was really good. The reactions are done. I edited down the reactions earlier. It was good. It definitely, honestly, so far I can easily say that it has delivered. Like, yeah, sure, Monday was a little bit rough, but I think it delivered. I wonder if anyone else dies tonight. I think Charlie dies. I think we have a weird scenario where Charlie dies, but Nancy survives. And we'll probably see the death of, like, one of the henchmen who were trying to find Donnie and, like, shoot him with the gun. I know I might be alone in this thinking this, but I think this week's been a lot better than the 40th anniversary was. That's a good point. I do. It's a bold take, I'll say that much. I think it's been a lot more explosive. Why is that a politician answer? Hello, Emmy. Welcome back. Has it been better than the Eastenders 40th anniversary? I think it's... To me, it's one-upped it in the way because Eastenders is so reserved, but Hollyoaks is so willing to let loose. Where I don't think Eastenders would do the big Hollyoaks stunt where 4 people die. That's not really in Eastenders' wheelhouse. They tend to have it be really built up to. But it's delivered. It has delivered. I've been saying Hannah Cheers needs to be outed. I think Hannah Cheers still needs to leave. But this has been good. It has been very good. It's been campy. It's been very Hollyoaks. But I do think it has been genuinely very good. It's just, yeah. It's a good reset. I don't know why we've needed this reset, personally, because we did have the time jump not too long ago. But yeah, I don't know. I think once the dust settles, I will... This has been very good. It's been a very good anniversary, I'll say that much. You're a bit bored with Eastenders at the moment with Harry being locked in a room. I think it'll all come out next week. But I do see what you mean. I can understand why people are a little bit jaded with Eastenders currently. Because it doesn't feel like we have a real sense of direction as to where things are going. We kind of feel like we're going from A to B. Well, I'm sure there is a big direction mapped out, but like usually we have a bunch of storylines like planned and revealed, and it doesn't feel like we've really had that much. Personally feel the build up to the whole month has been a lot better than the build up we have had in the 40th anniversary Eastenders. I was underwhelmed by both, if I'm being honest. I still maintain this. From January till the week before the anniversary, EastEnders was fucking horrendous. But the week before the 40th anniversary, it really heated up because we had the Phil stuff. But other than that, I thought it was pretty underwhelming. But I did really like the 40th. Yeah. I don't know. To be fair, with what I was writing, I kind of had to have Hollyoaks in the lens of like, it's not as good as it could be. I think I'm a bit doomer towards Hollyoaks currently. And I think this has been good, but I'm not on the edge of my seat, I think. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm fucking knackered. This is day 3. I've done about 700 videos. But no one else is covering this. So it's very nice to do. I'm going to have to take this fucking cardigan. Oh, shit. I've hooked the whole fucking wire in. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. You good? Man struggles to take off cardigan. Oh, wow. It's not in shot anymore. Hallelujah. All right. During the lives, thank you very much. No stress. It's been good fun. I joke about how much coverage I've been doing, but also it's been really fun, and I've been so pleasantly surprised by how many of you have just fully lapped it up. It's been great. It's been really fun. It's the kind of shame with. See, this hype has to build organically, and it doesn't really. You can't like fake it or build it up. So like, I will always aim to cover the anniversaries. Maybe, because don't Emmerdale and Corrie do the big like Super Soap week when the Britain's Got Talent final week is. But I'm definitely, I always want more options. It's just the issue is nobody's going to be here if we're just watching a random episode of EastEnders because it's not released live. So just, yeah. It's the kind of, like, I love doing it, but it has to be these big moments because otherwise people just don't care enough. And that's fine because, you know, I'm glad, I suppose with all that to say, I'm glad we get to do it for the special occasions. And obviously it's always cool to have it, fully... Fucking, I mean, I'm really struggling to get my words out. I do apologize. It's always very cool to have it on tape. It's always cool to have it there. Because, like, even for the Hollyoaks article, where I got to pull up my reaction to seeing the Rafe and Dilly twist, where I absolutely lost my fucking mind. It was fantastic. I'm glad that was committed to memory. Part of me is sad I don't have slightly more over-the-top reactions, but it's just not who I am. Like, I probably could make it up and try to be like, whoa! But, like, I'm not an actor. I couldn't force myself to cry at Perry's death. I think that's one step too far. I did feel a rush of sadness when Grace's death happened, but everything else, I'm just like, eh. First week of the month, we had Jez being exposed and Rex learns at Grace's mum. Second week, the weakest week, but it had the Lucas and Steve stuff. Last week, James John. Yeah, fair. It has actually been quite a stacked month. Well, to be fair, the one thing that didn't help me is basically I didn't do the maths, and I didn't figure out when the anniversary specifically was. So, therefore, I was just like, when is the actual anniversary? So I just didn't know. So I didn't really know when it was going to pick up. So I could have just done more research, really. Also, Gogglebot is overhanging. Oh, I've just seen Tommy Lee's penis. Brother's slinging it. You know. All right, but yeah, hey, I hope everybody's been enjoying it so far. To be fair, there's not too long till I might cover the Super Soap Week if they do that this year. I'll definitely be covering, obviously, EastEnders Christmas. I'll also be covering the Emmerdale Corrie crossover in January. Why am I watching Tommy Lee talk to his penis? Why is Gogglebox showing people react to Tommy Lee's penis? Why is it crossed over? Because Gogglebox has stayed on, so we see Tommy Lee's penis. Fucking Channel 4. You can't beat it. Brookside and Phil Rebman was unexpected. The funniest bit for me was the fact that in the stream we went, who's this old git on the screen? And then later on it went, oh, it's Phil Redmond, like soap royalty. TV royalty. Not a big fan of Hollyoaks, but I'm sure the storylines were written. I mean, Hollyoaks later it's extra. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot different than everything else. Like I said, I feel like the Leah Barnes, like not Leah Barnes, the which Barnes was it? It's not Amy. It's the other one. Who was the other Barnes who died out of the parachute? Amy. No, fuck. I'm gonna go on that path. Won't be Vicky or Lucy's. Yes. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna say an intro for the thing. And finally, we have Hollyoaks later, and it is starting. Hollyoaks later, something we've not seen since I believe 2020, where we saw Breeder McQueen's downfall. Yeah, Sarah Barnes. Thank you, everyone. But yeah, her plummeting from with the parachute is absolutely. It's embellished. It's so deep in my brain. It's unreal. Warning, Holly Slater has swearing for adults only. You've been warned. Ah, no. I'm only 25 years young. How am I going to manage? Yeah, don't forget about Teresa. What's my favorite part of the week? Oh my god. Charlie, stop blowing that whistle, man. Man, they've been partying for days. Favorite part of the week? Jez's exit, probably. Him being pushed into a propeller is mental. I think this is going to be it, though. I think the later's really going to be great. Who's affording that apartment? Who knows? Oh, Dylan, stop texting Steve. Thank you. Fine. Okay, this is what we saw in the trailer. Wait. Well, Jeremy Sheffelder's characters, Patrick and Aaron, both killed in 2016, 2025. I mean, the fact he got 2 runs is insane. You know, not many people get multiple runs. No, stop taking E. Yeah, don't take it. Fucking hell, we're getting the special effects out now. Wait, we're gonna get a cameo from the Shamans. E's are good. E's are good. E's Ebenezer are good. Or the Shamans, I don't remember what the fuck they were called. Stop swearing. Mate. I'm struggling to get my words out, so swearing's inevitable. Look, it's Hollyoaks later. It's what we're here for. I did hear about Tamara Wall's exit. I did a bit on the video, and I think it's very disappointing that she was basically led to the abattoir, essentially. She was just said, well, we can't really redeem Grace now, can we? So what do we do now? And she goes, well, I guess I'll just leave then. So it's a shame, but she had a good 12 years. I think she's been brutally mishandled as a character, but she had a surprising amount of longevity. She had a surprising amount of longevity considering who she is and what her background is. So. Why can the very first Hollyoaks from 1995 be repeated this week? Nelson Channel 4's website episode. See, the issue is I don't think, like, yeah, sure, they've uploaded some classic episodes, but the actual like library isn't available anywhere, unfortunately. So I got you even had on Unwrapped where Steve was like, "Oh, just if you can find it." It's like you guys own the library, like. Luke's waistcoat as well. Excuse me. Charlie's dying. The crowd gas on Monday's episode was cringe when Darren punched Joni. You didn't really hear that on Hollyoaks, so. Yeah, Vicky and Charlie. Charlie's dying. Sorry, guys. Hey, it's Teresa. Why is there a bum shot? I'm laughing at the thing I saw in Hollyoaks Unwrapped, but I will laugh again. Hello, Dodger. Because it's Hollyoaks later? Yeah. Oh, Jesus, Warren, put that tongue away, man. Oh. Here we go. Yeah, not against the glass windows. I am worried about booze and drugs. It really can be a lethal combination. I say that I've never done ecstasy personally. Oh, hello, gun. So they've just been having a... They've been having a bunk up. Whilst... Who has a bunk up when there's gunmen searching for you? For fuck's sake. Fucking Warren. Get your priorities straight, you might die. Not time to blow your beans. Or maybe it's the perfect time, who knows? Hey. I doubt Hollyoaks Slater would air in the daytime. There are probably rules about it. Have they actually been swearing? Am I just not registering it? Oh, he said bollocks. I'm going to tell teacher in a second. Oh. See ya. See ya, Gemma. Nice knowing you. She's been shot. Blimey. Alright, and ad break on. So now I'm going to make a loud clap. So if you don't want to hear it, mute the stream for like a second. Here we are. Sorry. Your cat's even watching it. Ah. It's a family occasion. Oh. So, there's no way the character they've just introduced right now dies. Hey, Gemma's going to be a big new character. She's been introduced. Let's go. Can we have Olivia Rodrigo and Hollyoaks next? I think she's got bigger fish to fry. Gemma Johnson? True, that is her name. Yeah, she's not going to die. She's just been introduced. Imagine how anticlimactic that would be. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Just for shock value. She's probably got a vest on. Also, since when did they make the rich tea monkey not Johnny Vegas? The PG Tips monkey, I mean. Since when was it not Johnny Vegas? You still think Charlie will die? Yes. I think it's too convenient. I think him being here is too convenient. And I think it's a fake out for... It's a fake out so we think Nancy's gonna die, then Shirley dies. But like, he was brought back out of nowhere, basically for this, let's be honest. He doesn't really have that many ties. I should really just put this cup down while I'm doing it. That's going to annoy me whilst I'm editing. But he was brought back out of nowhere. He's not really like, yeah, sure, him and Vicky are flirting in this episode. But they've not been... They've not been developing that. He basically showed up and hasn't left for a while. So I think he's dying. Like, I don't think they're ever bringing back Chris Fountain as Justin Burton. So you're right about Jessica though, Ash. She's been trolling online, so I think she's be fine. Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. Like, I wish I wasn't as like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I wish I wasn't as skeptical, but I don't buy into the bait that most of the actors do. It's just a part of it. Tommy Tuckworth and Corey. Yeah, but he's not even come back to Corey is he? So I don't think they're bringing him back in any way. Just because he had that thing where he did some raps with some like violence towards women and just violence in general. So I think Charlie's kind of a perfect character to kill off. And since they're just killing off characters who grew up on the show, like they've killed off Perry, they killed off Charlie. Obviously, Leah Barnes was out after the time jump. Tom was out in the time jump. They just don't really seem to give a shit about the characters who... They don't seem to care about the characters who grew up on the show, in my opinion. So with Grayscon, what's the point in Froggy? Well, see, I know it sounds silly, but I genuinely believe... Oh, I know it sounds silly, but I genuinely believe that Froggy... Basically, the way I see the Blacks family right now is they knew that Claire was going to die. They knew that Claire was going to die. And... Not Claire. They knew that Grace was going to die, so they brought back Claire. Then they announced the contract extension. And now they have Froggy and Rex. So I now think that is the family for the next period of time. Till they figure out what they're going to do with them. But it's not like they've not tried to make ties like Steers with Rex, which I think will continue. Froggy is yet to be explored, so I think it was a concerted effort to keep the family alive. And that's why I think them keeping Claire Devine was such a good kind of position for them to be in. All right, we're back. But Warren's gonna do all the swearing. Also, if I get told off for swearing one more time, I'm gonna get the timeout button ready. Yeah, he was Ashley Thompson Emmerdale. You love Donnie Clark's plot twist being Mick Johnson Brookside? I don't think it's... It felt like a kind of natural conclusion, honestly. I like Froggy. We're yet to explore it, and I'm ready to see more. Hey, it's the new character. Woman-loving lesbian Frankie, please. Or woman-loving woman. Yeah, Diane Jr., exactly. Also, that is an absolute rave outfit. Why? That's getting clipped out of context. All right, Isabel Smith, we want you to swear. Say, my ass just exploded all over the toilet. Like, that's not blackmail fodder. Like... Yeah, exactly. Oh, Lucas has heard this. Uh-oh. And Lucas is having a bad reaction to the pills. Like I say, we know there's been anger from Lucas. I'm worried that he will attack Shirley in a rage. I will say, if anybody asks me who my favourite Hollyoaks character is, it is Frankie Osborne. It is Frankie. I love Frankie wholeheartedly. Why is Vicky emoting and Charlie's just Vicky's like fully invested and then fucking Charlie's just meh. I do love Isabel Smith. I think she's phenomenal. I think she's the best young talent in soap, and she's probably way too good for soap. Sorry if you heard that gulp. I will say that guy's bun is pretty mad. Usually when people have a man bun, it's just really terrible, but that one's pretty. Also, the other guy looks like budget Mackenzie from Emmerdale. he looks like Mackenzie's younger brother. The way I see this going is it feels like there's a big. The way that I feel like it, I feel like somebody dies at the end of the episode, and that's the big shock to end the anniversary. Left the soap opera community in the summer, but you came back briefly for 30 years Hollyoaks. That's fair. I mean, anniversaries are a big celebration. Do you reckon you'll keep up? Yeah, like Dodger knows anything about having a decent family. Sorry, what? Making a pass already? To be fair, I'd do the same for Dodger, really. Hello, MV. Bro, leave the community again after next week. Fair. The soap life isn't for everyone. I'm mental to be talking about kids, and Teresa Ramirez goes, let's have another one right now. Like, whoa, Nelly. It's getting too tense for you now? That's fair. I need to. Oh, we got the energy up. I need to wake up a little bit. This is the last episode, and I'm not buzzing. You think it's more likely that Dylan dies than Charlie? I think they're the most likely, in my opinion. I just don't think they're not going to run the risk of killing off 4 gay characters in a week, or like 4 queer characters in 1 week. They can. The optics are way too dodgy. And also, I think we do see. We know that Vicky makes it out alive because we saw a clip of like Vicky reacting to now having a sister she never knew she had. Warren's going to be Michael Myers and twat him in the head. He really does look like Budget Mackenzie from Emmerdale. Budget Mackenzie with a dodgy trim. Lucas from Jago Videos, Charlo Dylan. I don't think. Oh, there he is. Gun down. Oh, Dodger's here. Oh. Some Chemical Brothers. Uh-oh, what is Lucas doing, man? Could be Lucas, yeah, but I think uh-oh, he's gonna jump. Luke's is gonna jump. I don't know. See, I'm pretty sure Lucas is staying. Lucas is in it till at least December. Oh yeah, and ad break. Sorry. I need to get one of those like clippers. You know, the filmmaker reel where you do one of them. That would be a very bougie way to do it. Line pictures, indeed. Honestly, I don't know if I'm just tired, but I think the Hollyoaks Slater right now has been something of a nothing burger. Christmas Day death will be Luke's, I'm calling it. I don't think so. Like I'll remember you if it happens, but I don't think so. But yeah, I'm sure the later will kind of hype up, but it's mostly just been some characters. Just because of the nature of soap, they just sound out of character because now they're just swearing a bit more. So like it's been alright, but it's kind of a weird one. It's kind of a weird one to do because you're introducing Gemma, who we don't know. You have Donnie, who I argue isn't really a leading man at this point. You have Warren, who isn't a regular character on the show. Did Frankie cuss yet? She said ass. So you have that story, which is supposed to be cool if you're a Brookie fan, but I'm not a Brookie fan, so the fan service isn't working for me. But that's fine. That's a me problem. I'm okay with that. But alternatively, nothing yet has really, like, it's only now getting tense with them going to the club because now the teens are out and Lucas is standing on the side of a balcony, essentially. Which, you know, is Lucas attention-seeking behavior. I do worry, though, with how Lucas is going, I am worried for the future of him because once again, it's kind of like a Grace Black situation where it's like, you can only take this so far. You can only take it so far. We're going to miss Ava Webster as Roy Hutchinson. Agreed. I mean, it's... The thing I've said about it, and I've maintained it, is Ava did a fantastic job as Ro and was given a lot more serious material. and I think they did a really fantastic job. But you had to recast them to a trans actor because it would be, it would just be, it's just the right thing to do. So they have ruined Lucas. I don't think he's ruined yet, but he will need to go away at some point. If they want to redeem him, he will have to go off screen and show that he's changed. But it's just kind of it's the Hannah Cheers effect, right? Where, because it is an interesting story with the like parental violence, the kind of domestic abuse, but like parental violence. I think that's really interesting, but it's just a little disappointing with the way it's gone. I still think Lucas can be redeemed. It's just they are trying to. I just don't understand the direction because, and I also say this, like I don't think they'll kill off Dylan or Lucas simply because they are a gay couple and they are important to have. Oh, we're back. All right, sorry. We're back in. Where's Vicky? Is Vicky and Charlie in the toilets? Okay, him saying that, I am worried that he might die. Oh, holding hands. Holding hands. Also, Esme's rave outfit is absolutely tremendous. I've never gone to a rave, so I've never dressed like it, but my god, that's some style. Hey, look, if there's one way to make Isabel Smith super popular with the audience. Is Dodger going to kill someone? Because it felt like that was never part of Dodger's character. Because Dodger's always been seen as the good boy. He was always the good one, especially in comparison to Will. Oh, more swearing. Yeah, Dodger's not going to shoot anyone. Dodger's not that kind of person. Wait, hold on. What's Teresa doing here? So Warren is both in Brookie and is now running a club with the help of Teresa smuggling diamonds. Okay, they're out. They're out the club. Oh. Okay. Oh. Someone's going over this balcony. Someone's going over the balcony. Yeah, Charlie's gone. He's gone. So, do we think he will actually be going as Mick Johnson, or will he stay as Donnie Clark? So, basically, will we be expecting? Will we be expecting that? Will we be expecting that Donnie will actually? What will they acknowledge the Brookside crossover? I assume with Gemma being there, but will he be Mick Johnson or Donnie Clark? Also, where's Warren gotten up to? Because Warren's just hidden away. He's going to get ambushed now. Oh, yeah, Warren's here. Warren's here. Yeah. My bad. uh, Teresa, welcome back. Try shoving diamonds up your foo-foo. So how does she get back to Hollyoaks? One thing I will say, it's still weird to have Warren, who wasn't actually relevant. Oh, now kiss. Yeah. All right, here we go. Taking the clothes off on the balcony. Now it feels weird watching this with an audience of people. Let's just not make eye contact. It won't be awkward. Yeah, true. We all know each other here. We all know each other. We've all seen these streets. I don't know why his first port of call is a knee. We have seen it all. Uh-oh. This sad music's... Mate. Oh, no, this is Dylan relapsing, I assume. For a second, I thought he was just going to do the old, like, Tomo from Game of Thrones. God, that's a bougie glass. You don't mix booze with drink, man. Hey, Steve's here. Why is Steve here? Oh no, the probable sex scene isn't going to be Steve and Lucas, is it? I can't be dealing with that. Oh yeah, fair enough. I did miss that. Cheers, Nush. Hold on, what? Whoa. No. That's... Jesus Christ. Jesus. Fucking hell. Welcome to Hollyoaks later. Jesus Christ. Man, wow. I don't even know how to feel about that. That is brutal. That is really brutal. So yeah, I don't even know where to go from that. That's trigger warning necessary, I guess. It's probably the most kind of vivid depiction that we've seen in soap. So yeah, Jesus. What was brutal? You're not watching the episode. Jesus, that's not the most... Yeah, Dodger has been violated by the man holding them hostage. And we got a very vivid display, and I feel like all of us have all turtled up in, because, yeah. Dodger did not die. Dodger got sexually assaulted. That was vile? Yeah. I mean, we've kind of been building up to the fact that the Hollyoaks later always has something that really kind of strongly hits the fandom, and this is it. Is that girl going to be a regular who's a Frankie? I would think so. I would think Esme's going to be a regular. She's another crossover with Brookside, and I think they want to explore the universe. Is too much that is? Yes. I mean, the issue is they couldn't have put a trigger warning because it would have revealed it. But alternatively, you do need trigger warnings to kind of protect people who may have been affected with issues like this or have faced anything important. But they did put a trigger warning. All right, fair enough. But yeah, my God, that was... I think, to me, it was a extremely intimate portrayal of it. And I think that's important. And I think that this will hit a lot of viewers differently. But most importantly, the shock will last. The shock will inherently last. And I think that... Yeah, it was brutal. But it's... I don't know. It's necessary, in my opinion. Like, that just... As much as it's brutal and it's shocking, at least we can all acknowledge that it is a fictional show. But yeah, Jesus. This is what's going to define this Hollyoaks later, I think. Yeah, same happened with Luke, exactly. But, like, the issue... With it being portrayed as vividly as it is, it will now... To me, this is probably the definitive version of this. Because you have, like, you have, like, male sexual assault. You have these cases with Josh Tucker, who you with David Platt, and you had Luke's in, like, what, 2002. But this one, I think, will kind of last. So, yeah, wow. I mean, it's a bold direction. Especially for Dodger, who most people don't really think of him as a strong actor, so... Did Hollyoaks used to be on the logo, have the sex symbol on the O's? I believe so. Alright, we're back on. A clap in preparing. Sorry. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're all going to need to debrief after this. What are we putting on afterwards? To all feel safe again. You can't hear the show. Well, I'm not playing the show. This is a watch along. If I played the show, it would all get copyright claimed, and I wouldn't be able to do this. So. Oh, she set this up. Gemma was in on it, and now she's at fault because she introduced those men to here. Who set it up, Gemma? Oh, no. They teased us. I mean, at least if Esme's not a regular, at least we'll have this moment. At least we'll have this moment of closure and kind of moving forward. I do hope Esme becomes a regular. I think that would be quite cool. I do think that nice connection with Esme and Frankie, it definitely, I feel like it definitely helped kind of disarm the shock and how we're all feeling. I'm not going to enjoy editing this. I'm to JJ. JJ's dead. JJ's in prison. No, he's not left Corey. He was just making a joke. Also, I think this episode's going to slightly overrun because Gogglebox was slightly over. So there may be a couple more minutes. How's the episode? Some really dark shit happened. And good Christ. We're really getting clubbed to death. Clubbed to death to end the episode. Oh, did Teresa stole the real diamonds? Ain't no way. She's got diamonds for herself. And Frankie's now searching for men. Oh no, she's just like Sully. We know who Sully is. Is this how Sully gets brought to Hollyoaks? Why is Steve walking in the middle of the road? Steve? Steve, get out the road, man. Dylan might get hit by a car. Dylan's going to get hit by a fucking car. Oh, no, never mind. Oh. They're making out with his... Uh-oh, they're going to get hit by a fucking car. Get out the road, guys. It's not the time for your romantic reunion. God, someone's going to fucking die. Look, mate, I'm not going to answer you just making dumb comments. You don't need this attention-seeking behaviour. Actual car chase with guns. Oh, car's gone over. Holy fuck. Proper car crash, this. Oh, Steve's just taken a car hit. Oh, God. And Lucas as well. Oh, and Dylan, rather. Warren's out as well. Yeah, whatever we call you now. Okay, Sully looks like he's probably dead. What about the other fucking rat? He's not dead. Donnie, kill him. Kill him. Kill him, Donnie. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Yo. This is the real... This is Mick. This is who he is. I say that anyone from Brookie fandom, is this actually who they were? In Brookie? Okay, both look like they're alive. My God. Yeah, Charlie lives to see another day. Oh man, wow. Oh, let's just say all the things we want to say. Let's get all of the angst out. And then I'll record the video and then I'm off to do some editing for the night. Honestly, I was pretty I was also for the reactions, obviously that was the reactions. I hope everybody enjoyed the reactions to the Hollyoaks. It was really fun reacting to it. It's really fun doing it live. So I hope everybody's enjoyed doing it. And obviously, if you want to see more reactions in future, let me know in the comment section. But with all that said, thank you for watching the reactions. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. make sure to join us for whatever new thing, or for whatever new week needs reactions. We will do it. Thanks for watching, and obviously subscribe for more Watching Walford. There we are. Johnny YouTube back again. Good lord. Wow, that was brutal. That was a brutal episode, to say the least. Not much not much light in that episode. But yeah, wow, that's I'm not going to enjoy talking about it, I'll say that much. I will say I was very reticent to kind of that episode took a while to get going, but when it got going, it was really fucking good. When it got going, it was genuinely really solid. We had a lot of good moments, we had a lot of kind of low moments, but like equally it's because we care about the characters. It was so good but utterly vile. I think that's the perfect way to describe this. I genuinely, because I think at the end of the day, you think Steel or Dylan will die. With how it was poised, I don't think either will die because they would have died. I think everybody who's injured from this episode is gonna survive, in my opinion. I think they're both fine. I think they're all gonna be fine. I don't think anybody's gonna die the week after the anniversary. I think it was you either die in the anniversary or not. But yeah, holy fuck. Yeah, that was a lot. I think, I think if there's one important bit of advice, obviously everyone, take some time to yourselves. Do something that you find comfortable. Do something that you find safe and comforting, because that episode was a lot. That episode was really a lot. So if any of the episode kind of affected you or really kind of struck a chord, take some time out to try and process it and get through it, because a lot of what we saw could probably be quite triggering. So Nancy's not dead. I don't think she's dead. I don't think so. I'm positively surprised that Charlie's not dead. I thought he was going to die, but I guess he's just back for good now, maybe. So I think now if we turn our attention now, I think now it's time for us to think about, for review purposes, do we think that, what do we think about the Hollyoaks 30th anniversary? What do we think about it? If I had to make a summary, I think the Hollyoaks 30th anniversary was genuinely quite strong. It dealt with a lot of different material, and a lot of the episodes stood on its own. The only weaker episode is Monday, which we have to argue, yes, it's fair enough. But I think fundamentally it was a really good anniversary. I think they did a really good job, and I think they're kind of going for gold as such. It set up a lot of exciting prospects. Like, we now see the dark side of Donnie. We now see how is Dodger going to process a horrific assault. How is he going to process his sexual assault? We've gotten to see Frankie get some closure in terms of how she is now looking at, like, kind of romance. And I think, and now we have, are Dylan and Steve gonna survive? I think there's a lot to like. I still think we're headed for a grittier, darker direction, even without the Hollyoaks Slater. And I don't think that I think that Donnie becoming such a big piece, I do think this is going to be him actually becoming a much bigger character in this direction. So I think they set up a lot of stuff well. I think they've done a good job of it. I think that, I mean, time will tell with the Dodger storyline, seeing whether it was actually worth it, as to how they actually... It depends how they deal with the aftermath of this storyline with Dodger. Because I feel like if they do it well, it can win awards and it can be kind of it can be the like forever relevant storyline depicting this sort of issue. But if they just sideline it and it was just for shock value, I think it's horrendous and vile and disgusting. But I highly doubt Hannah Cheers would do that. So, surprised to learn that Donnie's daughter was behind it all. She could work quite well with Claire Devine. Fair. I think it was good, but also issue was it revealed so many of the issues that Hannah Cheers run. Everyone acted their asses off and gave the characters direction. I do agree. Monday's episode was weak, but today and yesterday wasn't too bad. The Oaks Slater was good, but also just hideous. Yeah. Hollyoaks 30th anniversary month is epic. Love Theresa being bad again. Love her chill with Warren. Who is he going to be now, Donnie or Mick? I think that's the interesting question. I do firmly agree with that. Claire made it through the week and she doesn't know about Grace as of yet. Nancy and Steele be fine. Don't know about Dylan though. I agree. It could be like the JP or Finn one or the Luke one because they were hard hitting. Yeah, very true. I worried about the writing because look what happened to Grace. I don't know though. I hope they don't. I hope they don't, Ash. Yeah. So I think, to be fair, I kind of want to see what Twitter's saying about it. Honestly, I kind of want to see the reaction to it. It depends of how. I wonder if people think it is. One thing as well is obviously. I suppose the topical issue, I think, will it be Dodger's new storyline? But yeah, exactly, Adam. Yeah, I don't think they would forget it. Yeah, Donnie's killed that guy. That guy's dead. The Dodger stuff has been yeah, exactly. Like, even if you take off being a man and talking about being assaulted sexually, you do have people who go, what? And then you have people who even do the gross thing, like, what, you liked it then? That's not the point. And then him being a police officer and him kind of, this abuse often gets laughed at. So I think that might be the topical issue heading into the next year that they were talking about in the Metro. I think that might be, I think we're going to see the aftermath of Dodger reeling from this attack and going from there. I know it'll be really harsh. I know it'll be really hard to do. But I think it's just, yeah. Poor Christ. Speaking from personal abuse, this abuse is overlooked today. Definitely. It definitely... I mean, it's why... It's always a problem because we always need to talk about these things. And I think that highlighting them on soap is particularly important. But also, there is a level as to how kind of gratuitous it can be. And there are layers. But I think the Hollyoaks later episode, it definitely hit. And I think we can all say it did hit quite hard. And the fact that it did hit hard means that we actually cared. Think it could affect Donnie as well? Oh, for sure. I mean, Donnie will be his, Donnie will be probably, they are forever bonded by this experience. Zico is dead, 100%. The other guy looks like he'll be a regular. Yeah, exactly. I think it was on a dating app. The Dylan and Steve stuff, I think it's just unrealistic for Steve to pursue it. Yeah, but they will obviously pursue it because drama. But I also think it does have to play a part in the fact of Perry has just died. So now Steve's kind of questioning everything. So therefore, he's now going to make some ridiculous choices that he wouldn't normally. Just because he kind of wants to feel something other than the grief and the guilt. And of course, it's in a sense, it's his escape from what Lucas is doing to him. Fucking hell, that was a lot. That was a lot. I suppose now time to just say, I want to thank everybody for being here. It's been a hard week. It's been a good week. I think it's been an absolute pleasure to be doing this for all of you. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to cover this all. And I think that it's been fantastic. And I think you've all been wonderful. It's been so fun to watch through this experience with all of you. So I do appreciate you all. And of course, for whatever other stuff that is going to come up that we'll cover, we'll obviously do a big deal out of it. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure. So it's always lovely. It's so weird. And this is going to get slightly soppy for a second. But it was always weird when we kind of conceptualized doing this channel, because beyond a couple of podcasts, there's never really that sort of space. There's never really that much space to kind of do this sort of stuff. So now, 2.5 years on, I feel really proud that I am also able to kind of have a space where we can all come and react and watch. So I think it's something that I'm very proud that we get to do. And it's just a shame that it doesn't happen more often. But also, it's nice to have that bit of space where the episodes aren't live constantly, and it would become a bit arduous and a bit of a chore. But I do just want to thank everybody for joining me whilst doing this. I think it's been delightful. I think it's been a great time. We've had the highs, we've had the lows, and I will. It's been wonderful having all these conversations with you all. So that's the soppy bit. That's the soppy bit. That's over now. We'll answer some more questions. First, what happened in James, is he a regular or not? The issue with James is, I think that's him done for now. I think this was them saying James is alive, here's the potential, but also James is going, because I think Gregory Finnegan said, yeah, I'm not really planning on, I've not filmed anything else so far. So it's setting the seed down the line for when James would fully return. I want more later episodes. Later should be an annual thing. I like laters. Will James be back? Yes, James will definitely be back. I like Hollyoaks laters. I think they're really important. I do think that if we had them annually, I think it might lessen it. But I also think it should be more frequent than it has been. I wouldn't mind one yearly, but I also like them being brought in when the occasion permits. And maybe annually is enough time in between, but I don't want them to just do it randomly. I don't want them to just decide, oh, fuck it, let's just do it later today. I want it to be important, because this later was important, but I also don't think it needs to be tucked away for another 5 years. So I don't know. I'm 50-50. I think annual would be good, but definitely more than once every couple of years. Because the last one we had was in 2020, so it's been a while. So it definitely should be more frequent than that, because it's something the other soaps don't have. It's something that sets Hollyoaks apart. And if you don't do it, you're not broadcasting it. Now, doing it yearly would probably rub off a bit of steam, but they did a lot of Hollyoaks later seasons, back in the day. They were a good, 3, 4, even, I think they were a good 5 or 6 within 5 or 6 years. So I wouldn't be against annually, but I think there has to be a certain amount. Yeah, if they build up for it annually, I'm not against it. Or biannually, every other year. Yeah, 5 seasons, yeah. So, and I think that, in the same way, I think that doing the laters builds up to such a different thing, because I feel like a lot of us remember the laters a whole lot more than we remember just a random episode of Hollyoaks. I remember... You said the name. Fuck it. I'm not going to do it again. Her falling out the fucking parachute. I fucked up the name again. Um, everybody's gonna correct me now. I think that the one where they all go to the festival and then they go back to the house and there's the gang. Yeah, Sarah Barnes. There we are. Sarah Barnes fallen from the parachute. The one where they go to the festival and then they go to that like drug house with the villain called Blue. But then I don't know. That one really kind of hit me hard when you had the woman there, who I don't remember her name, who was basically just used as like a bargaining chip, just like a just used for sex. That really like fucking blew my mind. I'm like, that really unsettled me. That episode, those sets of episodes really kind of hit me. I didn't watch some of the laters because there were limits. Like the one later where the guy got stabbed by a samurai sword. Didn't watch that one. Didn't really think I needed to watch that one personally. But I do think they need to be brought out more frequently. And like I said, it sets it apart from any other soap. Not every other soap is doing this sort of thing. So I think you do it at a different point in the year. I don't think you do it at the anniversary. I think you do it in like February, March kind of time. Yeah, Callum Kane, there we are. I think you make it an occasion at a different point in time of the year. Because the issue with Hollyoaks is they don't really do the big events that much. Like the anniversary, they always do a big Halloween. They kind of do a big stunt in January, but Christmas is kind of an afterthought. They just release it all in one. So like I don't really find Hollyoaks Christmases to be as big a deal as Corrie, Emmerdale, EastEnders. So I think by having the later yearly, it would kind of have another thing. And once again, it would make it stand out in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, it gave the tension of a Christmas episode, exactly. It was done late September, early October back in the day. I'm not against that. Yeah, Christ. The year they focused on Tony being mixed up with a gangster, it was also on the 18th anniversary, so a character like Dom and Finn. Yeah, fair. All right. I will say though, now I think it's time. I've got to go and edit the reactions after this. Anyway, I don't need to. I'm doing it because the football manager's out tomorrow. I think now is time to do the review and the recap of the episode. So, if at this point you decide to click off, once again, thank you for being here, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And I obviously hope you join us for more of the live streams. All in all, just noticed on the Channel 4 app, Hollyoaks Late says it's a new series 31st of January. Ooh, Leo Burton. You cheeky devil. I love it. Someone clickbait that, mate. Turn it into a thumbnail or something. But yeah, essentially, if you've been here, and I appreciate you, so now I'm going to do the review, and obviously the review's going to be turned into a video that will come out tomorrow morning, and then on the Friday will be the edited down reactions if you want to relive some of the experiences. So that'll be that. But once again, yeah, the investigative journalism from Leo Burton. But yeah, so obviously if you want to leave now, I fully understand. I will see you next time. They should release the old laters, I do agree. Like, having to watch it on Soap Share is bollocks. Yeah, thanks, everyone. All right. And when Hollyoaks goes later, it definitely gets a whole lot darker. I do want to immediately just make the big disclaimer. First, there will obviously be spoilers about what happens in Hollyoaks later. And I also want to make an immediate trigger warning because we will be talking about some pretty heinous acts of violence and of a sexual nature. I'm trying to say this in a way that the first minute of YouTube won't take the money away. But point being, there is a very vivid and a very almost disgustingly depicted attack in this episode, and we will be talking about it. So I just think it's important to air it now and say, if that would upset you, don't watch this. Probably don't watch the Hollyoaks later, because if it will deeply affect you, it's not worth compromising your mental health. So just want to make that disclaimer very apparent right now, because it gets really dark really quick. So what happens in the Hollyoaks later? Well, it starts off, we get two major focuses. First, we get the teens partying in Liverpool, and we get Mick, now, if I say Mick and Donnie, it was revealed that Donnie and Mick Johnson, his Brookside character, are the same person. So, you know, they might be interchangeably moved. So, and it's them being chased by two gunmen. It's Warren, Mick's son, Gemma, who is played by former Hollyoaks Steph Britton, Tisha Merry, and they're getting chased by gunmen. We also see Teresa, and yeah, so where do I go in first? Let's ease in with a bit more of the party. We don't see as much of the village. The village is that's in the other episodes. This one's for the later. So the teens are all partying, they're all taking drugs, they're all doing ecstasy, and they are drinking, going drugs. So they go out, they go to a club. Lucas is still upset that Dylan isn't really interested in him, and is basically trying to do anything to get Dylan's attention. But Dylan is out on the relationship after learning that Lucas has been hit, and Steve doesn't really want to be dealing with it. So they all take drugs. Charlie's a bit of a dick. We're teasing Charlie and Vicky, which oh Christ, yeah, they've been teasing Charlie and Vicky, which has not really been built up before them, but it is now, and they're kind of getting together. Frankie is trying to have some fun in this time of worry, and she meets Esme Dixon, who is the daughter of Jackie Dixon, another Brookside character, who is played by Alex Fletcher, who plays Diane Hutchinson. It's a bit of a scramble, I know. And we also see Lucas get tanked up on drugs and then basically threaten to throw himself off a balcony, which Dylan finds and stops. And then obviously he says, once again, Lucas being quite manipulative, essentially says, "You won't leave me though, will you?" And obviously Dylan says, "No, I won't." And this is while Donnie, Warren, and Gemma are hiding away. We get a little bunk up between Gemma and Warren, and then we have the gunmen finally corner Warren, Donnie, and Gemma. They shoot Gemma, who takes the bullet, but she doesn't die. And Dodger gets involved. Dodger finds Teresa smuggling diamonds across the border. She offers to she wants him to turn a blind eye, and almost hits on him to try and get him to not confess about what he's seen. And this is as Dodger gets called away to try and help Donnie and Warren. Dodger gets caught up, and they're kind of caught at a standstill. Warren leaves, so it is just Donnie, Dodger, and Gemma. And once again, now we're going to talk about the darker parts of this episode, and I'll try and talk about the slightly lighter moments in there, to try and add a bit of brevity, add a bit of kind of time away to think about it. So these two guards, who are sadistic, and we later learn that Gemma, Donnie's daughter from Brookside, has paid them in order to try and steal Warren's diamonds that Teresa was smuggling. And so they take Donnie into the bedroom, they viciously attack him and beat him up, and then Sully, the guy with the mustache and top knot hair, he beats up Donnie, and then he gestures to the other guy to beat up Dodger, and Dodger faces a very severe assault. And once again, trigger warning. Here we go. In the act, this disgusting human being, he viciously sexually assaults Dodger. And takes advantage of him and violates him. And the reason why this has become so contentious is because usually in soaps, it's a lot of pre-watershed kind of stuff. So a lot of the darker things are implied. Unfortunately, or even, I don't know, perhaps fortunately with how kind of it has been depicted, it's a very, very grim reality, and it's a very intimate look at this. As we see, it's a very... Usually in times like these, some people may misunderstand what's happening. There are no misunderstandings here. Exactly what I've said happened, and almost it goes on for too long, and as an audience, you could understand the shock and the horror of seeing such a dark thing being depicted so vividly. And it's definitely caused a lot of shock amongst the audience because it is very dark and it's very kind of disturbing. It's hideous, it's grim, it's disgusting, it's disturbing. And I don't really know how to kind of defend it in its way, but I think the way I've explained it to myself is most of the Hollyoaks Slaters often have something really, really shocking that will sit with the audience for good. They'll have something really, really depraved, something that wouldn't typically be seen in normal Hollyoaks, that will kind of scare the audience, and, you know, it will really take a toll because it's resonate with a lot of people and it's hurt a lot of people. And, you know, male sexual abuse is unfortunately very common. And to see it be portrayed in such a overt way could be deeply upsetting to a lot of people. And why I say about Hollyoaks later often having this sort of darker tone to it is because there have been the really kind of darker parts of the episodes, like seeing Sarah Barnes with the parachute and she just falls to her death. Or I don't remember all the names, but there was the Hollyoaks later where they all go to the festival and they all stay at this like drug house as such. And you basically see that the dealer's running it and the woman stays there, but the woman's basically used as a bargaining chip. The woman there is basically used for sex, like a bargaining chip or just, you know, for any non-specific reason. And that's her life, and she's accepted it. It often kind of tries to depict these much darker issues that wouldn't have a place in normal Hollyoaks, or at least not in such an overt way. So, and we've kind of talked about there being ramifications for a big topical issue. Where it was I believe it was a Stephen Patterson article in the Metro saying there'll be a big topical like social issue that will be carried into 2026, and perhaps, you know, Dodger reacting to this assault and dealing with it and processing it. Maybe that'll be a big long-term story, seeing how Dodger deals in the aftermath. Joanne Smith in the chat says, people are already complaining about the episode, saying it's a disgrace. I'll get onto the review later, but I think that it's a very bold move, and Hannah Cheers has shown her almost potency to want to go for these much darker issues. I mean, what are Hannah Cheers' biggest storylines? You have the Frankie and JJ sibling sexual abuse storyline and human exploitation. These are darker issues that are being depicted, so I kind of just think it's her MO. This is what her direction wants to be. I understand the shock, and I think it's perfectly like reasonable for a lot of people to be upset. It was I think everybody who watched it will understand why And I feel like a lot of us will kind of have to think about it, and it probably won't leave our brains for a while. It probably won't, it's quite hard to process. Paul Flint, new subscriber, says this was very dark. Yeah, it was really dark. But I think the potential, and I'm going to talk about this from the sense of like, I'm trying to talk about it from like, as Hollyoaks will look at this. I think the potential to take Dodger, who first is a policeman and a man in a field where male sexual violence isn't taken particularly seriously. And now Dodger in a pretty removed position from his family. He's been isolated from Sienna and Cleo, and we don't know how Liberty feels about him. But he's also lost his dad, he's lost his gran. Isolated from his family, now has to process the trauma and process the grief of what's happened to him. And I think if this is done well, it can be a huge award-winning storyline, and it can be a really important part of forming, like, once again, kind of reshaping Hannah Cheer's identity. And to give it to Dodger, who, let's be honest, Danny Mac isn't really viewed as being the most talented actor. But this is a good challenge for him to talk about, and it's a good thing to have him show, does he have the range? And I think it's a really important thing to do. Michael 1988 Chelsea FC, bad football team, by the way, says, this is really not a topic that's brought within our society. This cannot be swept under the carpet. You never get over anything like this. Exactly. The scars, the trauma will, Dodger, there's a lot of trauma to work through. And I mean, we've even kind of seen it with Frankie Osborne and her processing her trauma in a different way. So, yeah, I think it's a bold stance. I think it will inevitably get a lot of disgust and a lot of hatred. But I also think a lot of people who don't necessarily watch Hollyoaks will also point at this and go, wow, look at how gross Hollyoaks is for depicting this. And I think a lot of people will try and take this angle where it's like, we are better because we don't have this in such like grotesque detail. But I think it's a choice they made how to display it, and it's going to be an important storyline. They are working with a charity, and they worked with a charity for years about these storylines. And remember John, Paul, and Finn, and Luke Morgan and his vicious attack. I think it's something Hollyoaks tells really well, so I'm not particularly worried about it kind of being used for shock value. So, yeah, I know a lot of this video is going to be dominated by it, and maybe I'll make a chapter to try and separate it, so if you can just look at the other stuff. But with all that said, I think it's a very bold move to do. And as long as they handle it correctly, I do believe this will be one of the more memorable Hollyoaks storylines, just like the Frankie and JJ storyline was. So yeah, now let's take the air out, let's ease the tension. Paul Flint once again says, been watching Hollyoaks for many years now. They do the best storylines, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, Hollyoaks is one of my favorite storylines of all time. So, right, now let's talk about the other stuff in the episode, which isn't as heavy. It does get a bit heavier later on, and once again, I'll do trigger warnings for it. But fundamentally, now we get a nice bit of reprieve from the grit. So we see that in the club, you have Frankie, and she meets Esme, who is, once again, as I mentioned earlier, she's Jackie Dixon's daughter. Jackie Dixon was played by Alex Fletcher, who plays Diane Hutchinson. Obviously, we didn't see Jackie Fletcher. We only saw Diane in the episodes. But regardless, we see them kind of flirt and hold hands and get close. And they get intimate. They have sex. kind of in like the most like kind of dreamlike way, where you're on this beautiful balcony under the stars with blankets, and have a very close moment. They have sex, and then they just kind of talk about it. And Frankie goes, "Look, I was always so scared to be intimate, but and it's kind of it's progression in her journey, because obviously they depicted sexual violence with Frankie, with JJ, so it's been a big thing for her to get over, because she's never really felt comfortable with intimacy. So, and she says, look, this was great and this was lovely, but I don't think I'm gay. And Esme just kind of goes, look, yeah, I can't say like, I am sad. My mom would love to meet you, but we shared this moment, and this moment will last forever, essentially. But unfortunately, Frankie swipes on what is basically Tinder, I would imagine, and she finds Sully, who is one of the criminals who are holding Gemma, Donnie, and Dodger hostage. Not the one who assaulted Dodger, and she likes his thing on a dating app, and let's assume that's how this character may potentially show up back on Hollyoaks. Then you have Warren gets back. Warren disarms the conflict and proceeds to... They then get into a car chase and they're hurling down. This as Dylan and Steve have a coming together. Dylan acknowledges that he doesn't want to be with Lucas anymore, and he's not about it, and he just doesn't want to deal with it anymore because it's not who he loves, and he wants to be with Steve. And Steve says, look, sometimes you just have to choose what's best for others instead of you. And they kind of go away, but then Steve's walking down the road. Dylan finds him, and they have a coming together, and Steve and Dylan kiss. And I've also seen a lot of controversy about this kiss as well, because obviously, Dylan is involved in a very popular like gay couple ship in Hey Ray, and hey, technically it's still Hey Ray, guys. Technically. But point being, they have a big coming together, but they're in the middle of the road, and this is while Warren and Donnie are fighting. This is while they are kind of like fighting. They're in a big car chase. The the villain's car gets tipped over, and Warren and Donnie kind of stop and revel. Dylan and Steve get hit by the car, and Donnie finds the man who attacked Dodger, and he beats him within an inch of his life. The implication is that Donnie has killed the man, and Warren kind of realizes we need to get out of here. Essentially, we need to leave. And this is as Lucas and Frankie find Dylan and Steve, and that's where the Hollyoaks later ends. All in all, I think that it's done its job. I think that Hollyoaks later had done a really good job at depicting it. It felt like a bit of a slow burn, like Vicky and Charlie didn't really have much, and it was kind of interesting. Honestly, it feels like they wanted to do some intimate scenes, so mostly you had Frankie taking off her dress and showing a bra, essentially. And you had Gemma and Warren kind of implying that they were having sex. And they just mostly had people swearing. So, but it was a bit of a slow burn, all in all. It definitely took a while to get going. But I think fundamentally it stunned the audience. And I think that's done the job of the Hollyoaks later. I think this episode will live in infamy for a long time simply because of how kind of dark and how gritty it got. So I think they did a good job. I understand the resistance. I understand the shock and kind of disgust. I think that's perfectly valid. I'm not going to disregard that. That's perfectly reasonable to have. But as Hollyoaks later is a piece of Hollyoaks that is kind of always remembered. Maybe we don't remember the 4th of October episode of Hollyoaks, but you remember a Hollyoaks later. So I think they've done a really good job of it. obviously I've been streaming this all on Twitch at the time, and a lot of the chat has kind of said, we like Hollyoaks Slater, we wish it was more frequent, we wish it was probably annual. And I think that's definitely something that they should look at. They should definitely look at making Hollyoaks Slater a regular thing. Because at the end of the day, it sets itself apart from other soaps because no other soaps tackle these issues like Hollyoaks do. And yeah, sure, it may be slightly campy, but in the same way, these episodes kind of represent, you know, a bit more of the older fandom, because Hollyoaks is always depicted as a younger fan base, and I don't necessarily think that's true. You have a lot of long-term fans who've been fans for years. So I think the Hollyoaks Slater does represent more adult, and I think that's a part of the fandom that doesn't really get respected as such, doesn't really get appreciated. So I think my final message about the Hollyoaks Slater is just to say that I think it's important that they do this more frequently, because once again, this episode, as disgusting as it was, I don't think will be forgotten very quickly. And it did a really good job to stand out within a high explosive, high octane week. Because you could just watch the anniversary, that would be fine. But you watch Hollyoaks Slater, and it's a completely different feeling. And I think that's a really impressive thing to do that Hollyoaks has done here. So, yeah, more of Hollyoaks Slater, please. Paul Flint says, yes, Frankie's been through some very bad times. I was stunned by this slowly revelation. The whole episode was great. Hope they do more later episodes. A Christmas one would be cool. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Hollyoaks Slater's meant to be very adult. Wish for more of them. Very much agree. And now I'm just going to do a bit of a kind of overall review of the anniversary week. It's not going to be super deep, and obviously, if people are still watching, obviously give your thoughts. I'll read them all out in the video. I think overall, I think this anniversary was a massive success. I think that you've hit the audience with a lot of sad, tragic deaths that will kind of upset the audience, but will be impactful. Because at the end of the day, you want deaths to be impactful, because otherwise, what's the point in doing them? And so, you know, we've lost Perry, we've lost Jez, we have lost Grace. Those characters who aren't exactly kind of pillars of storylines, but still, it matters. It matters that they died, and the legacy will kind of live beyond them as they've been immortalized in this anniversary. I think the stunt was a little clunky, but very Hollyoaks, and we can't judge it as if they have the BBC's budget. We can't really judge it as if they have Corrie's budget, because they don't. So I think within the grounds of what they had, I think they did a good job. I think they had a lot of cool set pieces. I think they had many different ways that the plane crash affected it. And I think that overall they did a genuinely very good job of this anniversary. With all that said, though, I do still want Hannah Cheers out. Essentially. And I know every Hollyoaks video comes back to this. I respect what Hannah Cheers has done. I appreciate it. Maybe in a couple years, maybe if we get a new producer, we'll look back on Hannah Cheers and say we were too harsh. But I think there are limits as to how far you should push some things. I think there are a lot of decisions being made that don't fully represent what the audience would want. And at some point, the shock value isn't really, you don't care anymore. And I think Hannah Cheers has reached the threshold. I think Hannah Cheers I think she's served her time. I want her to go, and I want a new producer to take the direction. Our lovely viewers say, Michael once again says, there's so many directions the show can go with all the new characters. True. Zach says, it felt slightly underwhelming due to the 3-episode-a-week format, but the shocking moments are definitely memorable and made the week. Yeah, 100%. That's a perfectly equates it. Can't agree more, mate. Paul Flint again. It's been very exceptional. I used to watch Brookside, so a nice callback. Great stunt week. Was sad Perry left, though. Liked her. The one thing I will say, and this is probably a bit bold of a non-Brookie fan to say this, I do have to acknowledge that the Brookside part was the weakest part. And that's fine, because I'm not a Brookside fan. I like the idea of Brookside. I've just not watched enough to understand much of the fan service. But I like the intertwining of the worlds, and I would like to see more of it. I want to see it explored more. I think that's a really important bit, and I 100% believe that they should keep doing this sort of stuff, because you're channeling into another world that has been untouched for ages. But alternatively, I don't trust Hannah Cheers to do it well. Michael says, Monday, Wednesday, Friday should have been the order if Channel 4 wanted 3 episodes a week. As someone who covers it weekly, please no. I like it being Monday to Wednesday. The Brookside crossover was overpromised and underdelivered for how much it was being bragged about. I do agree. I do feel like a lot of the build towards its anniversary was about the Brookside kind of revival. But it was such a small piece of the anniversary. And I like the bringing in of Mick as Donnie. I think that's cool. And I do think they're going to play into it a lot more. But if that was all you were doing, I'm not sure. But considering they will likely make Donnie a pretty big part now, he's crossed the line between being a good guy and a bad guy. Like, by killing someone. So I think now is time to tell if it was worth it. So, once again, I will reiterate, and just like Michael says, Hannah Cheers was put in a difficult place in the beginning, but it's time for her to go. And I think that's the sentiment we can all argue. She's done a really good job of this anniversary, but the position it was put in before and in the build-up to the anniversary was something that she had to write herself into. The exit of Tamara Wall as Grace Black, after being cruelly axed by Lucy Allen, only to be brought back by Hannah Cheers, only to be killed off again after she was written into a corner by these producers. It's not a pleasant thing to show. And we're even worried at the potential of what does Lucas's future look like. As Lucas, a formerly fan favourite in a very popular couple, now is becoming essentially an abuser. And yeah, sure, Stee has survived the same thing, but at the same time, there are limits as to how much you can claw something back. And yeah, Adam Burke says it perfectly. One good week does not make you producer of the year. Exactly. And I just want to salute all the work that Hannah Cheers has done, but I think the right time is for her to step down and to hand it over to someone else. You had a poisoned chalice, and I respect that. I do. But once again, perfectly put by Adam Burke, one good week does not make you producer of the year. And the messy, shoddily, shock value, trodden, how do we get this from A to B? Let's take the easiest option possible. Fundamentally, it's ruining a lot of the direction of the current show. But with that generally said, how would I grade, and I'll ask it to the chat as well, how would you grade this anniversary week? Let's say from either do 1 to 5 or do like A to F, whichever one you prefer. I would give this anniversary week a solid B. I think the direction leading into it was pretty rough, but I think a lot of the shock moments made it one of the most exciting weeks Hollyoaks has done in a long time. There are still some issues, there are still some things I didn't like, there are still some directions that they went that I don't exactly enjoy, but I would have to give it a solid B. I think the Hollyoaks later was pretty good. I think they proved a lot by it. And I also think the week was an event in itself. So all in all, I am pleasantly surprised by this week. I'm pleasantly surprised by it. But my ending message is once again, Hannah Cheers needs to step down. Anyways, that was the recap. Obviously, this is the final part of the recap. It should all be in a playlist if you want to go back and watch it. And if you want to see the edited down reactions, because I was streaming this whole week, that should be released on Friday, so tomorrow. And yeah, once again, I just want to kind of have it be publicly known once again. This was all live streamed on our YouTube. We've had tons of regulars in and out talking about the Hollyoaks with me, and that for one has made the experience fantastic. So we do this for all of the big events of the soap calendar. We do it for Christmas. We do it for we do it for the big events where the episodes aren't dropped live. So I want to thank everyone who joined us, and I want to thank everybody who's made my day by joining me in chat. It has been truly fantastic. I'm going to read some more comments now, and then the video is going to end. The whole situation of Grace's character is what's done it for me in terms of Hannah Cheers. She'll be remembered for the JJ and Frankie story, I reckon. I believe that too. B2 was expecting the plane to hit the pub. Anyone else think that? It was pretty apt. B, good week, capped off with a Dark Late Night episode that set up a new story. Perfectly said, Adam. Rodney Arrington says it was shite. Dimitri Wright says probably a 4 out of 5. Michael says time for a new producer, but not Brian Kirkwood again. And Sean is trying to get Rodney to explain why they are wrong. And yeah, all right. So there we are. That's the coverage. Watch out for the reactions tomorrow. And I hope you enjoyed both the review and the recap. It's been great fun. But until we see more things that aren't released publicly or aren't released early, once again, the live streams are on a little bit of a breather until we get that next big event. But we will be back, and I hope you join us then. Anyways, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye. Whoa, blimey, I wasn't expecting a 30-minute video. But, you know, you gotta talk about these things. And thanks, everybody, for sticking through it. All right. Yeah, I feel like I've thanked everybody enough. I'm not going to bore you with doing it again. Adam Burke says, thanks for the stream this week. No problem, mate. Michael says, thanks, Ash. Good stream. No problem. It's been a pleasure. And yeah. But hey, I've got editing to do. Because Football Manager comes out tomorrow, and I'm not spending tomorrow editing the Friday video. So I am going to get in the editor. I'm going to get going. I'm going to edit the review, and I'm going to edit the reactions. And yeah, once again, it's lovely to do the Hollyoaks stuff. Never done Hollyoaks live streams before. So thanks, everybody, for being here. It has been a true pleasure. And yeah, I hope to see you all next time. I hope to see you in the next live streams whenever we get something big. But unfortunately, it seems to be a bit of a dry spell for now. So no live streams for now. I think it'll all, you know, but hey, there's a lot of stuff coming up soon. Christmas, of course. In January, we have the Coronation Street and Emmerdale crossover. As Leo Burton suggested, maybe there's a Hollyoaks later in January. So we shall see. But with all that said, this is me for the week, signing off. I appreciate you all for being here. And obviously, I will catch you all later. And obviously, check out all the content coming up this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. And see you when we have something else to react to.